There was once a young man who spoke far too much and listened far too little. You might know someone like him. He carried himself with an air of knowing everything, and on the rare occasions he didn't, he was an expert at pretending he did. He believed his own voice was the most important sound in any room. One day, word reached him of a truly wise teacher, a sage who lived in seclusion high on a remote mountain. Intrigued, and perhaps a little arrogant, the young man decided he would make the journey to meet this master. He was convinced he could impress the teacher with his vast knowledge and, in return, extract the final secrets of wisdom. So he began the long, arduous climb, his mind already rehearsing all the clever things he was going to say. After a grueling journey, he finally arrived at the teacher's humble dwelling. The old master greeted him with a warm, kind smile and gestured for him to take a seat. The moment he sat down, the young man began to speak. He launched into a monologue, a torrent of words about every book he had ever read, every philosophical debate he had won, and every complex theory he believed he had mastered. He talked and talked, his voice echoing in the small, quiet room. While the wise teacher simply listened, his expression calm and patient, his silence a deep, tranquil pool. As the young man continued his endless speech, the teacher quietly reached for a teapot and a small, empty cup. With a steady hand, he began to pour the steaming tea into the young man's cup. The amber liquid filled the porcelain right to the brim. But the teacher didn't stop. The tea began to overflow, spilling over the sides, creating a puddle on the small wooden table, and then dripping steadily onto the floor. "Stop! Stop!" The young man finally shouted, jolted from his self-important rant. "What are you doing? Can't you see the cup is already full?" "It can't hold any more." The teacher calmly set the teapot down. He looked at the young man, his eyes gentle but piercing, holding a profound depth. "This cup," he said softly, his voice the first sound he had made in a long time, "is you. Your mind is like this cup, filled to the brim with your own ideas, your own opinions, your own voice." He paused, letting the words sink in. "How can I possibly share any new wisdom with you?" he asked. "When your mind is already overflowing?" There is no space to receive anything new. A profound silence descended upon the room, heavier and more meaningful than all the words the young man had spoken. The gentle dripping of the spilled tea was the only sound. The young man lowered his eyes, staring at the mess on the table, the symbol of his own cluttered mind. In that moment, the teacher's simple action had taught him more than 1,000 books ever could. He finally understood. True learning, genuine wisdom, doesn't begin with speaking or proving what you know. It begins with the humility of listening. It starts with creating space, with emptying your own cup to make room for something new to enter. That day, he left the mountain a different person. He walked away quietly, carrying no new scrolls, no new theories, only a profound and transformative silence. But within that silence, for the first time in his life, wisdom finally began to speak. From that day forward, the young man dedicated himself to practicing the most difficult art of all, the art of being empty. He learned to quiet his own mind, to listen more than he spoke, to approach every conversation and every experience not as an expert, but as a student. He understood that to truly understand the world, to truly grow, we must first have the courage to empty our own cup. So the next time you find yourself eager to speak, to prove a point, or to show how much you know, remember the story of the overflowing cup. Ask yourself, is my cup too full right now? Am I leaving any space for new ideas, for a different perspective, for the simple, quiet truth to find its way in? Because sometimes the most powerful thing we can do is to just be silent, to listen, and to allow the world to fill us once more. Thank you for joining me for this story. If it touched your heart, please consider liking this video and subscribing for more content that inspires. We'll see you next time.